This video is going to focus on the actual dashboards themselves. I'll give you a quick summary of what the dashboards are meant to do and the information that they're meant to convey. Please know that the dashboards are configurable in terms of the units that will be compiled as part of them, some of the test parameters that are being displayed, and therefore it's important you work with your site manager to pick and choose what information that you want available on the dashboard. Now the dashboard is essentially the landing page for every unit type. So each unit type, whether it's a coolant system, a wash system, an inventory management system, when you choose the unit type, you come up with that specific unit type's dashboard. So there'll be several dashboards within the facility depending on the number of unit types that you have configured. Now it's possible to group different specific sumps within the dashboard, meaning that this coolant dashboard is a summary of all the different sumps that are being managed within this specific facility. Whereas these ones down here, these are larger, more central systems, and therefore they're sort of being managed as their own parameter. Because they're higher profile, higher cost, higher impact on the facility, if they're outside of specification, they're being managed separately. Okay, so what information are we actually conveying on the dashboard? This first column here has to do with the actual test parameters that we're looking at, and these are sort of highlighted as the most critical, sort of timely parameters that need to be managed and maintained for these specific sumps. We're looking at RI, so the refractive index. We're looking at RI concentration, and again, it's important to normalize the difference between your pure RI and your actual RI concentration that exists within the facility. We look at pH. pH is a critical parameter for us. It's an indicator of bioactivity. It's an indicator of risk of rust. It's an indicator of dermatitis risk. It's an overall health indicator of the specific sump, and therefore needs to be managed and maintained very closely. Dissolved oxygen is a quick test that gives us an indication of when bacteria and biologicals are starting to take a hold of a sump. So it's an important early warning sign of what's happening within the facility. So these are the different test parameters that we're looking at for all the different coolant sumps. This is the average of the last data points. So if this is a compilation of the 50 standalone sumps that exist out there, this would be the average of those 50 variables. Second column is data collection compliance. And really what that means is that if our control plans defined what tests need to be performed at what frequency on a sump by sump basis. So overall data collection compliance means that if, for example, 100 data points should have been collected for that facility, 93% of them actually were. And what this is a management metric that helps us make sure that we're managing and maintaining and sampling the right units at the right frequency over time. It's a quick indicator of how are we doing in terms of delivering on our ability to manage and maintain the system. Alert compliance is different. Data collection compliance has to do with, did you take the sample? Alert compliance has to do with, okay, of the samples that you collected, how many of them actually crossed a threshold where they could negatively impact the process? So we consider alerts when the actual condition of the fluid or the contamination level of the fluid actually has the potential of negatively impacting either a quality issue, a performance issue, a health and safety issue. When alert limits are crossed, emails are automatically generated and sent to appropriate personnel. It's a big deal. Operational compliance is a little bit different. Operational compliance has to do with the limits associated with keeping that fluid within its sweet spot, within its optimal zone, as we like to call it. And really, it's not so much a performance metric; it's a cost metric. Meaning that if the higher percentage of sumps we can keep in that optimal zone, the better costs are being managed and maintained over time. So again, it's a cost performance metrics that we use to maintain a facility. It gives an indication of when the last data point was collected, so you know how recent and up to date your data is. And it also gives us an indication of the last 7 data points, so you can see whether things are trending up or trending down. The other neat thing that the dashboard lets you do is it gives you quick access to get access. It gives you the ability to quickly access the data associated with any specific unit. So in this case, the Flowcon 820, this is a hyperlink that takes us directly into the data associated with that specific unit. So it's a quick access point. Simply click the home button and you'll back to the coolant unit type dashboard. Thank you.